Well, hello, sexy. Hey, everybody, some gadget guy here with a first look at the Lenovo Y50 Touch with an eye-searingly gorgeous UHD display. I've been a long-time Lenovo fan, but I've only ever used their Thinkpad line. My current laptop being a Twist, which is still holding up quite well. The Y50 is my first hands-on with a gaming machine from this company. Walking around the hardware, the build feels solid and durable, hallmarks of wearing a Lenovo badge. We of course have the 15-inch screen with a resolution of 3840 by 2160. Running along the side of the machine, we'll find a full-sized HDMI port, gigabit Ethernet, and a pair of USB 3 ports. On the opposite side, we've got a USB 2 port, memory card slot, combo headset jack, and SPDIF audio output.
The webcam on board shoots a passable 720p video. It should be fine for all of your video calling or home selfie needs. I do, of course, wish that they had stepped up to a 1080p camera instead.
My review unit has an Intel Core i7-4710 quad-core processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, a 256 gigabyte solid-state drive, respectable JBL speakers, and an NVIDIA GTX 860M. Not bad at all, considering it's just barely less than an inch thick and weighs in at 5.7 pounds. It's fantastically well put together. An attractive departure from my previous ThinkPads, and my only criticism of the shell would be the plastic edge running along the side feels a little unfinished as a seam. That's a pretty nitpicky complaint though, and doesn't detract from the experience in any significant way. The LED edge-lit keyboard is striking in red, and while the key travel has a very smooth, soft action, I actually do wish it had just a little bit more of the clack that you can find on a ThinkPad keyboard. As I'm a ThinkPad nerd, I already miss having the mouse buttons on the top of the touchpad, and it is going to take me a little while to get used to the more conventional layout for the control and function keys. People coming from other manufacturers, however, will love that Lenovo put these in the correct locations. Building a touchscreen into a gaming laptop is an interesting proposition. I'm not sure if it will matter significantly to Lenovo's target demographic for this machine, namely PC gamers, but I find the Windows 8 experience in general improves significantly with the addition of a touchscreen. Thanks to my Twist, Surface, and Lumia, I'm absolutely becoming that jerk who now touches every monitor I come in contact with. I almost feel bad for the Y50 as I know its screen will become a smudgy mess in a couple days. UHD on a 15-inch diagonal is simply gorgeous. Fine photo detail is pin sharp. And when you can find some, native 4K video is stunning. Where we find some teething pains is in software support for this resolution. UHD is still bleeding edge, and it's odd when you see some areas of Windows 8 that don't actually support it yet. It should also come as no surprise that a lot of Flash-based controls don't quite know what to do with this many dots on the screen either. For those considering the jump to this screen res, software updates should resolve many of those issues. The screen on the Y50 is a Samsung-sourced panel with very good color saturation and contrast. It's decently bright with solid viewing angles, but the glossy screen means it's not likely to do well outside. I'm not sure why you'd take a gaming machine outside to play in sunlight, but people seem to complain about that kind of stuff, so I figured I'd mention it here. General system performance is snappy as hell. Even driving 4 times HD resolution, the hardware on board absolutely crushes basic usage scenarios. Office productivity and web browsing came with 0 performance hits. Of course, that's not why you buy a beast like this. I've only spent about a day setting up this laptop and loading up some of my older Steam games. The NVIDIA 860M is doing a reasonable job of keeping pace. Cranking every setting to its highest and running the benchmarking app built into Arkham City, for example, returned an almost playable score of 19 frames per second. Backing off even a few settings made for a much more enjoyable gaming session. We've already faced a generational leap in terms of what game developers thought they'd have to support, and backtracking even farther to games like the original Portal make for some fun issues, as menu text almost disappears, it's so small. And Steam pop-ups are practically unreadable. I'll have more to report soon on newer and more demanding titles, but the initial experience is better than I thought it would be with this graphics card. Windows 8 apps present another interesting challenge as the Y50 is upscaling content designed for ARM processors. It's a little hit or miss what will run smooth. I had good experiences with Spartan Assault, but Asphalt 8 looked almost buzzy, became a bit headache-inducing after a couple races. Lenovo claims the Y50 will run for around 5 hours on a charge, and I have no reason to doubt them when used for general computing and staying off max screen brightness. This estimate obviously does not include heavy gaming. The laptop's own power estimates dropped to around 2 hours of runtime time playing Arkham City and Fear 3 at max screen brightness. Still, not terrible considering how hard the system is cranking. Even running the system under a pretty heavy load, the fans remain blissfully quiet, with the JBL speakers easily able to drown out what noise you might be able to hear. My initial impressions of the Y50 have been overwhelmingly positive. It's an attractive machine with a gamer-focused and edgy design, which thankfully doesn't look overly Mountain Dew fueled. For its $1,600 street price, it's a powerhouse portable, and the crown jewel 4K screen doesn't put too much of a crimp in its performance. I'll be spending a couple more weeks running the Y50 Touch through its paces, more gaming tests, and I'll also be testing its prowess as a content production machine, including 4K video editing and rendering, as on paper, it has all the markings of a fantastic mobile workstation. Be on the lookout for our long-term wrap-up on the Y50, and we've already released a speaker test video for those who are curious about how the onboard JBLs sound. As always, thanks so much for watching my videos, subscribing to my channel, dropping me those amazing comments down below my videos. I've always appreciated the conversation we get into. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.